All right, so what you guys are seeing this week is my deload week into my slash intro week into my new block, which is going to be my competition block leading into my meets. And basically, this was a pretty low stress week of training relative to what I've been doing in the past. I had singles at basically RPE 5 to 6, and most of my rep work was RPE 5 or below. Just really running hot with training, so training volume, and this is like a much needed deload going into this new block, transitioning into singles. Did a 2x1 with 308 pounds slash 340 kilos. That was very smooth, despite being pretty beat up and sore on that day from past week's training. Also got 595 for a 3x1 on deadlift at RPE 5. That moved pretty fast, and naturally, like as the reps went on, I actually seems like the reps got faster, which tells me a lot about that's good for me. Like my reps seem to move faster as I do them more often. And then I also did a single on my squats later on in the week with 474 pounds or 215 kilos at RPE 6, which is the smoothest I've ever been able to move that weight. It didn't really feel too great. Just for some context leading into this block, I've been sick really more or less for about 3 weeks. Last week I got pretty dang sick. I was in the gym doing my top set of 3 with 623 pounds, and I was like feeling kind of weird going into the gym, but I was like, oh, I'll just come and warm up and I'll be fine. And long story short, things were not fine. I had really cold sweats. My body was just not having a good time, so I just went home and slept, and just kind of is like it really lingered on until about Wednesday-ish of this week. Kind of like feeling like not too good. Really weird, like some issues, like here in these videos, like I was really bloated, and that was affecting how squats and deadlifts felt. But it's now Saturday, October 15th, and I'm feeling more or less okay. Still some really bad like GI distress, so like I am down like about 3 pounds. I was weighing around 192. I was eating and really a lot, and just for those of you who don't know, like for me, just eating to gain weight is just extremely difficult. Gaining or like maintaining or losing weight is pretty simple for me. I just kind of eat how I feel like. For gaining weight, I have to be super intentional, and my stomach just has not been cooperating with me. So basically, like even with me getting like lots of my calories through like liquid nutrition through mass gainers, things have still been rather not the easiest to get in. But I am trying to get back to up to the 5,000 calorie mark, which I really do need to be at in order to maximize progress. But overall, I'm in a really good spot. I'm probably going to add like 3 to 5% to these singles per week going into my meets. Really try not to overshoot. But I really put myself in a good spot with making really good training decisions here, and really just saving it for the meet, because that's really key in any competition block, and everything to a competition standard. So squatting everything to depth, deadlifts holding a little bit at the top, bench press is really going. I'm going to like 2 count pause everything. But yeah, in this next portion of the video after this too, you're going to see me kind of talk about like why I don't do singles year round, and why like you don't need to do it, and some sort of context behind that. But like right now, end of the week, I'm feeling much more recovered, and really just excited for the next 4 weeks of building into this new meet and see what I can potentially hit. And then this incline bench press kind of came out of nowhere. Hopefully this is a sign that of things to come. But yeah, feeling a lot better, so excited for the next few weeks. Hey guys, in this video I wanted to essentially go over this concept that I've had basically like tell a lot of people, and something I think that needs to be kind of clarified in terms of powerlifting and like getting stronger. And that's sort of like the whole context of like sort of like when should you program singles, and like do you need to actually have singles year round in order to get better at singles? And the simple answer to this is that as a powerlifter, you actually don't need to be good at singles year round, because there's a competition that you're going to need to be good for those singles at. And likewise, you do not need to hit singles year round to know whether or not you're actually getting better at the skill or basically at singles, or your 1 rep max strength is going up. So essentially, I think that just like looking over this video that I just shared, in most of my programming, I do not do singles very frequently. It's going to mostly be, top sets of 2 to 6 at a somewhat high RPE of around, usually a 7 to a 9 RPE. And that basically is very predictable of like how my top strength is at. And there are some, sometimes some lifters who are maybe a little more advanced who may have, they might just prefer doing singles year round. It might be advantageous for them, but it's nothing special when compared to other, just doing like a top set, down set approach with, if you're getting like if you're getting stronger on like your top sets of 5, your top sets of 3, you're likely getting better at singles, although they are at a different skill. Now, and so way to just get better at singles is just, if you are just do more singles. But you don't need to do singles all the time. And a lot of the context for this is, I feel like for people that are very, who singles may be a good thing for year round, are people who are very well built for a lift, people who compete rather frequently, people who tend to really struggle with confidence issues, or might lose their top end pretty fast, basically like above like 85%. But I don't think that applies to most lifters, and that's why the approach needs to be tailored. And so for myself, for example, in this block, I'm doing 3 singles on deadlift, 2 singles on bench press, and then 1 single on squat. And there's nothing special about that. It's just a different approach to get me a little bit more practice on lifts that I'm a little bit better built for. Like, I'm going to provide a little more confidence boosting on those lifts, and also they're a little less fatiguing. Like squats are most fatiguing for me, and then deadlifts the last, compared to and also like bench press. But yeah, just like obviously we see a lot of things with like Joy Flex and whatnot doing singles year round. And again, like I don't think that's like a bad thing in general. There needs to be context, and it's not just something you should just throw in there to throw in there. And having some variation every now and then can be really good for like just getting healthier. And it can also fabricate some more psychological buy-in, which is like if you're doing like a single like year round, it's kind of hard to know. Like it's like, so like you will know, but say if you're adding like 2.5 to 5 pounds like on average, like you can have just a strength fluctuation at the end of your block where it's like you don't actually PR by 5 pounds. Like, damn, I don't know if I'm getting stronger or not. Whereas like those lower rep ranges tend to be a little bit less sensitive to that fatigue and can provide a little more diagnostic clarity in that sense. So I don't know, just thought I would talk about this, but yeah, hopefully this was helpful.